do discussion number 3, balancing the freedom to drive and air quality. I was riding in a taxi in New York City. The driver was complaining about stricter regulations on cars to reduce traffic congestion and told me to watch the commissioner of the Department of Transportation to propose these regulations. Proposal 1 was to spend $37 billion over 10 years to improve the accessibility, performance, and safety of the city's subway and bus networks. Traffic congestion would be reduced as people opt out of riding in cars in congested areas, and over time, some of the revenue will pay for much of the investment. Congested pricing was proposal number 2, where the city uses electronic tolling to collect fees on specific bridges, highways, and tunnels leading to congested areas. These programs have reduced traffic congestion in the U.S. in some U.S. cities and some countries in Europe and Asia. The plan would cost $100 billion during a 3-year construction period and $25 billion to maintain it. The plan could generate up to $50 billion of revenue per year, though. The transit workers were for proposal 1 because their bus networks and subway networks would be modified and upgraded. Taxi workers, the Taxi Worker Alliance and rideshare drivers were for proposal 1 because proposal 2 feels like they're being penalized for driving their cars around and making money. Other people, though, thought proposal 1 was not good and they'd rather have proposal 2 because they don't want to wait 5 to 10 years to see improvements in air quality. And some environmental groups said the first step for reducing pollution quickly is to immediately provide incentives for car use, so that would be tolling people in congested congested areas. So, it would encourage people to use mass transportation sooner. I decided to go with proposal 2 because I agree that we should work on the pollution in the city right away. I kind of thought about the chapter 8 in section 4 of our environmental sustainability textbook, talking about the primary pollutant carbon monoxide, where it's produced when organic materials such as wood, coal, gas, and oil are burned without abundant oxygen, and it's also emitted in the car exhaust. So I thought about congested areas in New York City, and that if we wait another 10 years of this carbon monoxide exposure just happens or keeps happening for another 10 years, I feel like we're it's too long to wait to actually start working on the problem. So I went with proposal 2. The taxi drivers and the rideshare drivers says it's unfair, and some people are upset about it. So we had to create initiatives to decrease congested pricing charges. One was to impose pollution charges on all vehicles registered in NYC. The amount would be based on the fuel consumption of the vehicle and would be determined later. This plan would not would not add to any cost of the city's budget, so that's a plus, and could generate money to improve mass transportation. So proposal 1. But the other initiative was to get all the taxi drivers and their cars to become electric instead of fossil fueled. So this would mean less pollution tax. I chose initiative 1 because I feel like maybe there would be more pollution making these electric cars, or it would take too long to phase out all these fossil fuel cars and taxis and rideshare drivers. Their cars to go to electric. I feel like that would take too long. It kind of sounds like proposal 1, and I kind of like proposal 1 more because it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Like, if you mess up, you're gonna get if you if you waste too much gas and you pollute too much, you're gonna be penalized for it. But if not, you're good. You can keep making money and stuff like that. But at the same time, that money will go into proposal 1, which almost everyone liked, besides the fact that it would take too long to happen. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And I also thought of in section 7 of the chapter 8 of our textbook, the Clean Air Act of 1970, where they create standards where they measure and monitor for compliance across the country. So they just measure, is this area or this city really worried about pollution? Are they actually listening to what we're saying, where don't waste this much gas, don't drive this much, so there's not that much pollution in the air. So I thought it was kind of like that. So it's kind of good. But yeah, and for conclusion, people must accept most ways of reducing air pollution that will like will be an inconvenience for anyone, especially in cities. So like it was someone was going to be bound someone was bound to be upset. So but yeah, I guess that's what I thought.